Hello, students. So, we are going to study a new chapter in biology today. So, are you all geared up to do that? Let's begin with it. So, the chapter is about the animal organization. We are going to know how the tissues are developing inside our body, how the different processes of the life are happening, what are the tissues which are covering our body, what are the tissues helping in various functions, what are the tissues which are just helping in protection. And the main question before studying about the tissues, we will study how these tissues are formed. So, also one more thing I would like to mention over here that both plants and animals both have the tissues. So, that is everything that we are going to study about today. So, it is going to be a different curriculum of AQA. So, before wasting much time, let's start it. We were going to just go with the little gist of everything. We're going to do little points about it. So, yes. So we are doing over here animal organization gaseous exchange. That's a AQA board. Now, levels of organization. Now we all know that the tissue, how the tissue is being formed. So before anything, there is a one single thing that we call organelle. Okay. So organelle are those components by which the smallest unit of the living body, which is cell, is formed. So cell is made by different organelle. Okay. Organelle are those components which are inside a cell because cell does different functions in different organs. So every cell is designed differently. So the organelle within the cell is doing some specific function inside it. So this cell, when combines with lots of cells, it makes up a tissue. And that certain tissue is doing some specific function in our body. So which means that all the similar types of cells are combining together, they're forming up the tissue, and this tissue is doing some function and some specific function in the human body. Now, our organelle has formed the cell. Now the cell has formed the tissue. Now when we go more into deep of it, the tissues are going to together combine and they are going to form the organ. The tissues are going to form the organ. So we all know that every organ is made up of different kinds of tissues. Supposingly, if I just give you an example of the skin, skin is made by the epidermal tissue. That's the outer layer of the skin, which is known as epidermis, which is made by the epidermal tissue. So, skin is one of the largest organ in the human body. If I just talk about another organ, supposingly stomach. So, stomach is also made up of certain kind of tissues. And those tissues were made up of certain kinds of cells who are doing some similar kind of functions. Now, when these tissues combine, they form the organ. And when we join all the organs of the body, there's the organ system. Supposingly, I join the nose, the esophagus, the pharynx, the larynx, the all the stomach, the alimentary canal, everything, the complete alimentary canal. It starts from the mouth. If I combine each and everything, if I just give you an example of respiratory system, that's our organ system. The respiration, it begins from the nose. So that is very clear to us that the number of organs like nose, esophagus is what? The windpipe. Okay. So each and every organ is getting combined together to form the organ system. Now, if I just go more into deep of it, so what will I study? Supposingly, nucleus. Nucleus is what? A single organelle. Now, that single organelle, it formed of the cell. Every cell consists of the nucleus. So this is the heart muscle cell. This group of heart muscle cells got combined together, they formed the tissue. That tissue formed the complete organ, which is the organ system. And this heart, with the lungs, with different arteries, with different blood vessels, with different capillaries, with different limbs, all of this is a part of the circulatory system. So all the organs combined up together to form the circulatory system. So that is what it is all about. That is what the level of what we say, the level of organization that we call. That initially there is an organ, then the cell, then the tissue, then organ, and then the organ system. I hope that is pretty much clear to everyone. Now, if we move on to more of a discussion about it, we are going to study about the need of exchange of surfaces. We studied like organism must take in food, oxygen, and water, and other essential substances from the environment. And plants, they also need carbon dioxide for the photosynthesis. So, don't you think that whatever we are taking in and giving out as a waste is somehow or the other is utilized by different other organisms? Like we take in oxygen, which was given out by the plants. We give out carbon dioxide, which is taken in by the plants. So plants take in carbon dioxide and give out oxygen. Humans take in oxygen and give out carbon dioxide. And not only humans, the other creatures like Animalia family. So we have five kingdom classification, as we all know. So in that kingdom classification, the Animalia family, they all do exchange of gases, as in oxygen they take in and they give out carbon dioxide. So small organisms exchange these essential and waste substances between themselves and the environment. And they do this over their body surface. So, if we just talk about some small organisms, so they don't have any well-defined organ system, they don't have any well-defined structures or things. So generally, the waste of the very small creatures who don't have any well-defined organ system. Sometimes their blood flow is also like not having any blood vessels, no arteries, no veins. There's an open circulatory system. So they don't have any kind of such thing. So small organisms, they they what they do, exchange this essential substances between themselves and the environment by the help of their surfaces. Now, simple chemical substances can diffuse in and out of the bodies. Okay, so that is the characteristics of the small organisms. So, if there is a very small organism, supposingly, substances won't get like they don't have enough space from moving one place to another. If you consider a human body, there is a huge place to travel. If I just talk about a large intestine, which is about a meter long, so they have a huge, everything has a huge place to travel from here to there. Even the food, which turns into a bolus, it enters to the esophagus. Then it does the peristalsis movement. Peristalsis means circular movement from the esophagus and it enters to the stomach, small intestine, and large intestine. So human body is helping us so that the food that is going inside our body can travel to a huge distance and they can actually travel. But if we talk about small organisms, that is not possible. So the exchange is usually happening from the surfaces. That's what we are studying over here. There's a diagram which is depicting the same. So yes, that was it for today's session. We are going to study more of this thing later in the session and hope you understood each and everything. And that was the main motive of the session. Thank you. Bye bye.